This is part 3 of a 5-part series where I reveal absolutely everything I know about real estate prospecting online. And if you didn't check out the first 2 videos, I would highly recommend that. That should be called part 1 and part 2 because they will give you a better idea of what we're doing in this video, which is actually telling you how to split test. So we've now found our winning creative. We've tested our creatives. We've figured out which one has the lowest cost per lead. Now, how do we actually split test to make sure we're getting the highest quality of leads as well as the quality? So I'm going to dive into my computer here and make sure you stick around to the end because a lot of people in this online space, they're always telling you the next best, greatest thing. But I'm just going to go in and show you absolutely everything. I'm not going to hold back anything that we do to actually help our clients get more results from online prospecting. So pay attention because this will be important. And obviously, if you want to implement this yourself, there's a 6-step process that we do that will really help you out. So I'm going to dive into my computer here, and I'll see you guys at the end of the video. Okay, so this video is all about split testing. We should now have the winning creative. If you haven't found the winning creative formula, check out part 2, which is on my channel, which shows you pretty much how to figure out this is the winning creative in comparison to the other creatives that I tested. And what this allows us to do now is we're now able to take small changes and change them to the winning creative because we know that it's the winning creative. And then we're able to find a godlike creative or the ultimate creative that we find that's going to get you sometimes even from $20 to $10 by changing the color, by changing the background, kind of these small things. So I mentioned small changes because there are so many people on Facebook. There are an infinite amount of people in comparison to how many people you run ads to. And even small changes catches people's eyes differently. People get bombarded with ads all day long, every single day, 24/7. So small things make a huge difference. Even just changing the color, like I mentioned, I've seen it go from $20 cost per lead, $20 cost per lead to 10. So big things like that. So the first thing is the creative. The first thing we want to change, and this is the biggest thing in all of online ads is the creative. It's what catches people's attention. It's what actually creates the curiosity that allows people to click on your ad. So we need to change the creative. That means changing the creative color. That means, design tweaks. That means the background image. For example, we go from this is one background image to this. This is different places, but this is just to show you what I mean when I say change the background. And then also, so what you should do is launch 3. So what you do is once you've found the winning creative, let's say this is the winning creative, we launch 3 variations on this winning creative. So maybe change the color, maybe change the background, and we want to launch 3 new variations in addition to the winning ad, and then put that in a new ad set. So you have now 4 total ads that are running, and you can figure out of those which one's the winning creative, do it again. Cool. So now we do headline split testing. This is the second most important thing because it's the biggest piece of text on the ad. So for example, it looks like this headline. So for headlines, there's a few different ways that we can split test. There's kind of 3. We either do direct headlines, we either do interest headlines or fear headlines. So direct would mean get a property update on your home. Interest would be this one metric can show you how your home stacks up in today's changing market. And fear would be without knowing your home's worth, you're losing money with today's ever-changing market. Okay, so these are some examples of direct headlines where it's get your free price update now, see how much your home is worth. You can even get creative with it and change the emojis and change once you find a winning headline, switch out the emojis, switch out some things. I don't think it does too much, but me being a marketing agency owner, you can never get too optimal. Like I'm always testing these things, right? So the next thing is interest versus open targeting. This can be done in the detailed targeting section where you can add demographics, interests, and behaviors. And we want to test between open targeting and detailed targeting. So some things I would recommend throwing in terms of the detailed targeting is real estate, is realtor.com, is property finder, these sorts of things that tailor to someone who's interested in real estate, who's interested in maybe selling their home, who's kind of giving you the broad idea of who to target. And then obviously it's going to find the needles in the haystack who are looking to sell. So that's the third thing you need to do. And these are in chronological order in terms of things you should do. But the third thing is ad copy. So this is essentially the words that you see, like the description of an ad. And what we like to do is we like to cater to real things that are happening in the market. So for example, this is an article, mortgage rates dipped to the lowest level of 2025, which is obviously, interest rates go down. So yeah, this is an example of something we would run because it caters to the actual relevant things that are happening in the market. So something else we can do for ad copy to split test is calling out different markets. So that means either calling out the town, calling out the state, things like that. And then, like I mentioned, feed into market trends, call out different people, military families, luxury. That's going to change the quality of the lead as well as the quantity. and then changing location, right? Denver homeowners versus Colorado homeowners, things like that. So all this is going to be the fourth thing that you do. The first three things you should try out to increase your quality of the lead or the quantity of the lead is to do creative, headline split testing, interest versus open targeting, and ad copy. Now, the fifth thing you need to do is do lead form changes. So this is going to be adding questions. This is kind of the ebb and flow that we use, right? In part two, we figured out how to find the winning creative. We find the winning creative. Sometimes the way we find it is we decrease the barrier to entry by taking away questions. Then we do the split testing. We figure out, okay, how can we lower the cost per lead? And then once we have that fully optimized God ad or ultimate ad, like I was mentioning, then we go back in and add more questions. So we can essentially get the same cost per lead that we got from the first winning creative, but at a higher quality, right? Because we've added questions. Let's say the lead cost is $20 per day. If we have 3 questions in there that people are filling out, man, that's a banger lead, in our opinion. That's a really good lead. That's answered 3 questions. That's gone on into your go high level funnels. And it's for the same amount of money that we were spending for, 1 or 2 questions. So that's what we do. And we also use conditional logic. So for example, if someone's looking to sell in 12 plus months, we say, nope, you're not going to go into our CRM. We actually give them an X and we say we're at capacity for home evaluations. So for some questions we added, what are you looking to do? Just doing research or thinking of selling? And then when are you thinking of selling? 1 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 plus. So the final thing you need to test is placements, right? This is pretty much Advantage Plus placement. So this is Facebook choosing for you. At this point, they're pretty good at it, to be honest. Like I usually use Advantage Plus, but manual placements are also very important. If you kind of want to bypass that sort of testing phase, if you will, and if you are going to do manual placements, feeds, stories, reels, for both Insta and Facebook are the best. Don't do any of those, banners or anything like that. So that's the 6th thing. Now, something else you can do to increase the quality of the lead, and this is something that I don't have up here, but it's retargeting. Having a retargeting strategy in place where, let's say someone opens the ad form or the lead form, but doesn't fill it out, you can now retarget them and keep them in your sphere because, as you know, it takes multiple touch points for people to actually be coerced into your sphere, and it takes multiple efforts to actually get someone to fill out a form. So do retargeting. Usually the metrics I like to look for are if you're doing a video ad, if they've watched 50% or more of the video, if they've opened the lead form, select if they've opened the lead form, if they've liked your page, select like your page. I sometimes also do 35% of the video, so between 35 and 50. And those are the types of things where if you can retarget someone who's seen your ad and looked at it for 5 seconds instead of half a second, suddenly you know that they're much more interested, and retargeting is the most powerful thing you can do for your presence. Even if you run the best ads in the world, it's never going to work. So people who see your face all the time, they're much more likely to trust you. It's a weird concept. It doesn't really make sense to me, but it's true, right? If someone sees your face 100 times, they're much more likely to spend money with you than if they just saw you for the first time today. So that's why we do retargeting. That's super important in terms of once we actually find the winning ad, right? We go through, we find the winning ad. We're actually going to retarget people. So those are the people that interacted positively with your ad, with your page, with your posts. So let's dive in real quick, and I'm going to show you an example of me actually helping someone. So let's dive in real quick, and I'm actually going to show you a few examples. Okay, so I'd like to show you something. So I found a winning ad, and I essentially just went in and made different creatives. So as you can see, this is in black, this is in red, different backgrounds. And then I came over here and I found the winning ad, which was a $10 cost per lead compared to 18 compared to 34. So as you can tell, the exact same style of ad, which is, pop-ups with your home's value, the exact same style drastically changed from $34 being the top, the peak, to $10 being, the least. So I then went out and created a new ad set with just the winning creatives. So I just wanted to show you that because that's pretty much what this system does is if you go through and change the creative, if you go through and change the headline, interest, ad copy, lead form, all the things, the placements, you will have a quote unquote God ad or an ultimate ad. Now, if you're going to do one thing, just do the creative because the creative is like 80% of it. It's the most important stuff. If you're a busy realtor, don't go in and do all the rest of the stuff. But obviously for me, being a marketing person, like that's the stuff that I really enjoy. So if you're going to do one thing, change the creative, find the real winners and the real losers. And I wish you the best of luck. So this is the end of part 3 where I go through and I give you some split testing advice. So now at this point, we have our Facebook ad set up. We have our winning creative. We have our kind of ultimate creative, if you will, through our split testing. And we now need to be feeding this somewhere, right? We need to feed these leads into somewhere that's going to nurture them, that's going to do good work with them. So that's the next thing I'm going to get into is how do we set up our CRM, or how do we set up our Go High Level, because that's the CRM I use to actually create a really, really positive result, and a result that allows you to be efficient and not waste time calling leads that don't want to speak to you, don't know your name, and essentially don't want to sell, and aren't easy to work with. So I'm going to show you that, and that's going to be the next video. Check out part 4, check out part 5. Part 5, I'm going to kind of bring all these together in one final ultimate video.